Welcome back to the CFGI here in China. Getting ready to jump into our fourth match between Boss and OPK. Wildly important for the way this group is going to turn out, as well as probably going to be a much closer match than our last one.
Yeah, our last one was a bit of a resident sleeper there for all the Twitch users, emotes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was a bit of a resident sleeper there, but the rest of the day, we should have a lot of exciting matches and a lot of important matches as well, because this group, it's undecided who's going to even come out second. Yeah, first is already pretty much decided.
Yeah.
But second, it's up for grabs.
It's not pretty much decided.
It is decided.
SV is 100% first place. But all we know is that SV is out in first seed and that TNC cannot make it out. Everybody else has a good shot, right? The winner of this will be put in pole position, but if Penta wins out, they're going to force at least a tie, right? Because everybody has at least one loss, meaning that Penta can give both teams their second loss and end up at 2-2, and then it's going to start coming down to tie breaks. But whoever wins this one's going to put themselves in a much better position. And do you have a prediction? Because I think I have in the back of my mind who I think has the advantage here.
For this match?
Yeah.
OPK.
I agree.
Yeah, I just think OPK they've looked really solid. They haven't, even in their loss to SV, they still looked really solid.
Yeah.
They looked like they could have taken that match if they could have just closed out a lot of the rounds.
Yeah, I don't know if they could have taken the match, but they could have made it really close.
Yeah.
That being said, Boss, I mean, we've seen good performances from all of their members, and they have so much international experience that can't be counted out against more of like a fresh team in OPK.
True.
Especially now that they know that they have some confidence, maybe that pressure starts to build. When you come into an international tournament like this as OPK, are you really expecting to go very far, expecting to do too much?
You're just happy to be here, probably.
Right, and so you're playing with a little less care as we look at the lineup here for Boss. Ali, Shady, Fatcon, Lucas, and Rita. Definitely looking for a couple of the members to step up a little bit more, like Rita, who I expect more from.
Experienced member. You always expect more from experienced members, yeah.
Ali's been playing out of his mind in their win. And even in their loss in TNC. Not necessarily maybe not highest kills for his team, but just having some crazy important and great kills there for himself. As well as Lucas, it just shows with a 1-1 scoreline, these KDAs are actually really impressive. With people being with at least two members over that 1.2 mark.
Yeah, it just shows how hard they've played and how hard they've fragged in order to even get this one win they had. It was a close win too.
And also good to see out of your leader at the exact 500 mark there for himself. And Rita there at 0.81. Again, like we said, maybe the guy who needs to step it up a little bit for this team, who's been pretty quiet.
It's not even necessarily the amount of frags he has, because he's pretty decently close to the rest of them, but it's like he's not really making plays, making impact frags, doing things you would expect of such an experienced member.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and we'll see if he can't bounce back today, and there would be no better time to do it than against this OPK side, who they've looked scary.
Yeah, they have, especially Brinks. Brinks is just, whenever he's been putting on a show, he's been putting on a show.
Yeah, but even in their match against SV, it wasn't really Brinks who was bringing it to SV. It was Supremo, right?
Supremo is actually their most experienced member. If I pull you back to Pain Gaming of the years before, he was always a vital part of Pain Gaming. So, he has a lot of experience, and so he's definitely cool, calm, and collected in a lot of these matches. He's played against the Chinese before, so he knows what it takes.
I will say, looking back again at this Boss lineup, the Fatcon coming back has really seemed to kind of solidify them more. They don't seem as wild, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was actually expecting them to play a lot more loose and wild, and they still play a little bit that way, but Fatcon definitely, I don't know if it's definitely Fatcon coming back, but that's like one thing that you can point out,
As we do move over to the Kino lineup here, Supremo, Ryuzao, Akami, BRK, Brinks, as we're going to continue to call him, and Rage J. Who for you here needs to step up?
That's hard to pinpoint. They've all been playing pretty decent. Oh, actually, speaking of the devil, I guess just looking at the KD, I didn't even know that.
No, he had some important kills out of those 7, but yeah,
not too many.
It's definitely something that he needs to turn around. But yeah, massive KDA there on Brinks 1.52. Rage Jabe, who had also in that SV matchup, they were stepping up in turn outside. Brinks was staying pretty constant, but like players like Ruzel, who had a pretty not abysmal, but not necessarily the stellar performance that we saw against SV in their first matchup, which they in fact won, and then Supremo for me, who
I'm not too sure if these stats are exactly correct because Brinks had that many kills in one game and he's played 2 so far.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're 1-1, and I don't think they counted the SV kills. I think that was only the match against TNC because, as you know, Brinks was going off against TNC.
It was massive.
Yeah, he was putting on a clinic.
That's a good point. I don't think he would have, if you include the SV matchup, I don't think he would be near a 1.52 because he was much quieter. He was definitely still having an impact on the game, but nowhere near the kind of impact he had against TNC. For me, in that game, it was definitely Supremo and Ryuzal who were the standout players.
Yeah, and that's why I reacted the way I did when I saw the first stat line. I was like, whoa, how does he only have 7 kills in 2 games?
That being said, I think it's much easier for him to have the opportunity to pop off against OP or against themselves, against Boss here. I think it's going to be on someone like Ali, that experienced member, to try and shut him down and try and make that more of his mission in this matchup.
To just not let him shine so much.
Yeah. That being said, what do we think maybe protective pick ban here as we get moved towards that?
With these 2 teams, they're still relatively unknown in my mind as to what maps they're good at. But if I were Brazil, I would just look toward banning either Ankara or Black Widow, probably Black Widow.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good decision there, as it's more about banning away from their own strengths, keeping their strengths open rather than trying to target Boss necessarily.
Yeah. And then if I was in the seat of Boss, I would be banning Mexico probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Brazilians are just
right.
notoriously good at Mexico, as we keep mentioning.
As a region, it's just always going to be a safe ban to ban Mexico out against the Brazilians. And they've shown us why. They're one of the teams that helped turn that more into a T-favored map, right? Where they really started showing how aggression can pay off on that Mexico map.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that, you more so could say that the Chinese are the ones who decide if this map is T-sided or not, because, they play it the most. The most eyes are on them and things like that. So the way that the Brazilians kind of changed it to a T-sided map and helped that was just by showing strats that the Chinese had never seen before. Just the aggression, just the randomness, the pushes in the water. They definitely they prefer water a lot. The past Brazilian teams have. Obviously, I can't really speak as to this team. But
I think that's something that a lot of teams don't utilize on that Mexico map is making teams respect the water push. It doesn't really matter if it works, because if you have people in the correct positions to counter the water push, it should always work to counter it, right? There's so many great ways to set up a crossfire coming out of that. You have the high ground. There's so many things working in your advantage, but if you don't respect that push, then it works so magnificently because it's straight through the middle of the defense, right? That being said, it won't really matter, as we do see Subbase in Mexico being banned out.
This is crazy,
Which
because
is
Kino
opposite.
actually banned Mexico, and then I didn't even think about Subbase being banned, and they banned out Subbase. This must be something that they noticed from each other in practice. Then.
Yeah, it definitely could be. And unsurprisingly, Boss going to select Global Risk on that port map. Definitely a big favor there for them. But that being said, Kino has already won on it once, and that was
an impressive
tight
fashion.
Tight match.
Yes, for sure. But in impressive fashion, the ending round.
Or it wasn't
5v2.
Yeah, that's right, the 2v5.
Yeah, the 2v5. It was
right
insane.
here at this exact point we see here on the map, on that B spot, from those boxes as well as onto the point, up from the point. So I don't know if they can recreate that magic, but we'll have to see. That being said, Boss is going to get that huge advantage of starting out on Global Risk. I mean, regardless, it's just the best way to play on port is to get to go first.
Unless you got something crazy up your sleeve, you know, where was it Boss that selected T side last time?
It was, but that was into SV. So I think
so unless you have unless you have something crazy up your sleeve, you obviously want to pick the more stable side because you want to have more rounds going into the next half. It doesn't matter if you're if you're on the GR side of port, you getting a 6-3 is the same as being on T side and getting a 3-6, right? But the fact is, you look at the round score and you're like, oh, I have 6 rounds. You feel more comfortable. So regardless of, you know, starting T or CT doesn't really matter except for the whole mentality part of it.
Well, especially, right, because every round they tick up on that T side starts to build the pressure for you, whereas it doesn't. If you're 6-3, right, you don't really care if they got 3 points.
Yeah.
But if it suddenly turns 7-3, immediately the pressure gets turned up, right?
For sure.
But let's see how it does play out as we are ready to get into this match between Boss and OPK. As we head out onto port here, we'll see which of these players is really going to try and pop off here. Will it be Brinks or will it be somebody like Ali or Shady, who's been playing well for them as well? Or see if Rita can maybe have a big bounce back performance here against OPK and pop off himself. That being said, does look like OPK was expecting Boss to contest these B tunnels, but nothing doing. They're playing super deep here with a 2-man defense from Shady, and I believe that is Ali. Yes, it is. So we'll see how much information Ryozawa is going to get here, and it looks like a lot, especially seeing that nade come in there from the boss lineup. It should give them a good idea of how deep they're playing, and will allow OPK to take all of this mid control that they have done.
Now, this is one of the best passive setups you can do right here, the one that Boss is coming out with here. So I do like this. Not taking B tunnel control, it's, you know, not taking that map control is actually not a bad thing. Usually on most maps, not taking map control is worse. But on a map like port, taking B tunnel control doesn't change too much. It gives you, you know, a different feel on the defense, but at the same time, it's just as good to play passive.
Yeah, that being said, you see the immediate response here in the defense playing from Boss as that first pick comes out in the favor of OPK. That's going to weaken the B defense a little bit, but now you're going to see an actual 2-stack here onto A. Although rotating back and forth there, continuing to cover mid. Still a reasonable defense here for it, especially with that pick off by Lucas onto Supremo. Ooh, but trades here coming through, and it's going to be Lucas actually who goes down first. At the hands of Rage J, and now
intelligently backing off here. I like that. So they get a pick, and then they just immediately back off. No need to keep pressuring and risk losing members.
Brink's going to take one down onto Ali. It does look like he got the jump on him with a free backstab.
Yeah. And the reason why they backed off right there is because Brinks was apparently sneaking up. He heard them rotating off of A, and he decided it was just prime opportunity to go take that real estate.
Does look like he will get vision here onto Shady and FatCon, which is bad news for them as they try to retake, as they are in a 4-on-2.
Doesn't know they're close. I don't think he knows this. He's kind of sneaked up here, FatCon. This could maybe work out for him. And they're not noticing him. Could he defuse the bomb? There's no way, right? They're gonna hear the bomb defusing, but do they react to it? They didn't. He could have defused.
He's got it. He's got it. He's definitely got it. Oh!
What happened was he clicked it and he thought they would turn around and react to it, but there's no way they react to it at first, right? They're like, no, that's not real because we just jumped off the site. If he had stuck it, pros don't fake. That's the same. Pros don't fake. If he had just stuck it, he would have won that round. That's crazy.
That is indeed bonkers. If he had just stuck that, he would have won that round, and that would have been hands down the most ridiculous round of all of CFGI so far.
A ninja defuse against 3 people.
But not just a ninja, the way that the ninja defuse happened, where both of them jumped off at the same time, and just by them not being there, FatCon realizes what happened somewhat, but doesn't think that they're out of range to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely weren't out of range. It's just a matter of, like, they think there's no way he's in the site. So even though they hear the sound, they don't register the sound for a little while. And that's why even when they went back up there, they went back up there with their backs turned. So he could have had that. Yeah,
yeah, definitely think he would have had it. That's unfortunate, though. That will put OPK into the lead, which is, I guess I say unfortunate, but really is the typical outcome of that situation. Had a little bit of weird stuff not happened. And we will move into the second round here with the CF, or the C4, not CF, moving on its own, now joined by 2 members towards this B side. And giving up pretty much going to be a mid B split currently. We'll see if this continues. Still plenty of time to work with a minute left in the half. And lots of roaming around here going on by Brinks, which is unsurprising of this OPK squad. Definitely the man you want to see playing on his own. And he is going to look for another sneak in onto the A site. This is exactly how Ali died last round.
How do they keep letting this happen, man? Oh my goodness. What great spray control from him, though. He lit him up so much. But he doesn't get the second kill. And he still can't get a second kill on Ali as well. And Ali cleans him up.
And I also think OPK has a bad reaction to what happened, right?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. So they're pushing mid here, though, and they may be able to take out Shady, but he actually gets one of them in return.
I actually think with the way that Lucas died in that round, they should have just exploded onto the B site maybe 1 or 2 seconds after that kill comes through.
They were too far away.
The round's going to end up timing out anyway. Really smart play here from Boss just to poke around and just passively win the round safely.
Definitely just kind of like an amateur mistake there. They didn't realize how much time was left on the clock, and they try to, even though he has the site, you know how long it takes to get to A site from B site?
Yeah.
The rotations from the CT are going to be way before he even gets there. So they should have just let him make the distraction at A site. They would have had to rotate over to deal with him and then take the B site.
Especially because the way that he goes down, Lucas has so little, not the best hopping, and now it's too late. They can't risk it to try it again. But especially with the way that Lucas goes down, he has no information, no real hard information to give. He can say, I think it's maybe 1, but they have to at least rotate somebody over there, and it's going to weaken the defense at B, and you just spring out there while the confusion is brought out by Brinks, and I think it's a much easier round win from OPK. But instead, it was Brinks communicating that, hey, guys, get over here. This is what you would have to think.
Yeah.
That being said, we are now into the 3rd round here with everybody stacking in towards B on the offense. And the execute is going to come out.
Oh, Shady with a collateral of 4K. What a prime opportunity they gave him. They just literally lined up, and he's going to get the 5K, the first ace of CFGI. And in spectacular fashion as well, just a triple collateral. They all lined up. They came out. They didn't flash him or something. I don't know what happened, but that was crazy.
It was an ultra kill, but so close to getting the true penta.
Yeah.
True 5K. True ace.
Still the first ace, though. At the end of the day, it's still an ace.
Yeah.
We'll count it, you know? But still, if they had peaked a little bit sooner on that 5th one.
I mean, what is that timer like? Because it had to have been so close to getting counted.
The timer is pretty short. And it was probably about half of a second away from getting that pentakiller, that unbreakable.
Unbreakable, there's the word. I just couldn't think of it. Ali takes a lot of damage, but instead it's going to be Supremo who's the first casualty of round 4. And that will be a nice advantage for Boss on this defense. Going to make it real. What is already a hard map to play, Blacklist, made even harder. Akami getting one onto Lucas, though, is going to even things up. And Rage J, look at him. He missed the jump. Otherwise, that was more than likely going to go very well for him. Is he going to go back for it? It does look like he's going to re-attempt it here. He has done it this time. Isn't quite able to get it onto Shady. And in fact, it's going to be Ali picking out Ryuzao. Man, that is a difficult one to do.
I just go for Ryuzo. It's probably not correct, but
I know that the ZAO has to be Zao. Because that's Portuguese. That means, holy moly, that is quite the shot there, Rage. Good on you. And that's going to put the 3-on-2 and should make the A site pretty open, but
Brinks was just a little lost there. He thought he had the jump on somebody, but that maybe was a dead body or something. I'm not sure what he was shooting at.
That being said, though, Akemi full HP with the bomb is going to get it down. And in the 1-on-2 situation, there's not many better places on this map to hold. You get that high ground. You really only have to watch 2 directions. It does look like he's going to play it a little bit more aggressively.
Oh, he's going to play behind the CT box. This is terrific.
That being said,
never mind.
But honestly, caught looking the wrong way.
That CT box is great because what can happen is you can hear them pushing up bridge and then push into CT yourself, and they'll never look that way. You can watch them go up the elevator from the safety of like that fence that's right there that we just looked at, and you can shoot them as they're going up the elevator boxes there, and just get easy frags.
That's a good point. Unfortunately, gets caught looking the wrong way, and that's going to put Boss into the 3-1 advantage. That being said, OPK still has some time to turn it around. There's definitely been a lot of close rounds here. Oh, no.
All right. I don't know what. Okay, the fact that he jumped on it and then just ran off backwards, I don't know what that was. That was pretty funny.
I wish we had seen. Does he make it? Oh, he doesn't.
Goodness. You got to be kidding me.
Oh, for 2.
Rita, just don't do it. Let your teammate do it.
Right? So you got to switch that up somehow. Was it Rita last time who also had it?
It was. That's hilarious.
That's if you're not up 3-1, that's got to be tilting. But at least you got the round score in your favor, so you can play it off like nobody was watching. But you definitely are hoping that nobody sees that. A lot of equipment gonna only tag Lucas down to a little bit, but he's got support immediately from
heavy rotation here. But at the same time, the OPK is not geared up to, take advantage of the heavy rotation.
Yeah, in fact, it's going to be Lucas who takes a lot of damage in that situation. Some off of the grenade, and execute coming through mid, and flashed out completely was FatCon, and he wasn't able to find it. Worst time to get flashed is you jump into everybody, but it is going to be Ali and Shady who turn it back into the favor of Boss. Ali unable to get taken down there by Brinks. Lots of low members here. Brinks, if this is your time for the 1v4, and he starts it off with a pistol kill onto Ali, but it's going to be Lucas who cleans it out with a nice.
And Shady's just popping off. The last couple of rounds, Shady, he's just on the hype train from that 5K.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Now 10 to his name. 5 in 1 round, but 5 outside of that is not bad as well. And Boss already looking at like they're going to...
And Rita was boosting that time, by the way. They let the other guy jump. And here they go with the push on the B, though. They're going to get that bomb planted. And smartly enough, they're probably not going to drop down into this pit. They're just going to defend the bomb and then back up. But Shady still picks one up. And now they're jumping into the pit a little bit late. And they get only 1 trade, and they're all so lit. This should be an easy retake from Boss, and OPK. Rage just happens to get 1 here. Shady back into the side. He picks up 1. He can almost pick up the other. The shotgun just steals that from his teammate. Could have had 13 kills now. But FotCon, he gets a little bit greedy. He's like, I want to kill to myself. I want to do that now. I want to be 2-3.
For a second there, as that first kill came in for OPK, it looked like they might have a chance to turn it, and then immediately snuffed out there by Boss. And
it was just unfortunate that I think it was Rita peeked the site like that and just instantly picked one.
Yeah, but where he has to start setting in here for OPK, time is running out to get those desperately needed rounds on the T side. Anything is possible on port when you're playing defense, but every round helps. Every round helps. As we do see coming into the 7th round, poking around through 4 men, poking around through mid for OPK. Aren't going to find much, but they will see FatCon playing from this position. But as we know, we've seen plenty of good plays from this position already this tournament. I believe it was Snox who was playing really well from this position earlier. See if FatCon can channel that same energy. Doesn't find much. And in fact, it looks like OPK is just trying to ignore it.
Avoids him. Yeah, just ignores him and goes to the Harvey jump and gets an easy pick onto Ali.
Now they are going to turn their attention onto FatCon. That was an interesting smoke toss there.
I think that was from FatCon?
Yeah, it was. But it just the way it gently fell into that position was excellent.
And Lucas going to be his maker there. just a firing squad waiting for him at A long, and now here goes the A push. They know Fotcon's in that AC, so all they got to look for is one more member. They got to find out where Rita is, and even though they know Ryuza's just not looking at it, I don't know what was going on there, but Rita in a bad position here, puts himself at the op A top whenever they're pushing up onto it.
Yeah, very back and forth here, even though it ends up being a 1v3. For a second there, that huge swing back where two members get taken out simultaneously looked like Boss might have a chance at this round, but finally OPK going to put another one on the board, see if they can't string some rounds together here and at least get one out of these last two to put themselves in a decent position going on to that global risk side. And we are heading into that. Here you go, early push out here from Boss, right? And it is going to pay off as Lucas takes down Supremo, and they wisely back off, take the free kill, and reset.
I like that aggression from them, though. They haven't done anything out of the ordinary this entire half, and all of a sudden they just push A long. Completely unexpected in the eyes of OPK, and it pays off.
Yeah, very much a new look from them. And as we do see the bomb flip back into middle, hard reset for both teams, really. And OPK going to have to do it now with a man down. We'll see what the play is here as they are stacked up with the bomb in hand, thinking about poking around, seeing if they can't get anything done in this mid before making a decision. I wonder if we don't see them end up defaulting to a B push. That being said, with that pick by Akami is just what they needed to get back into this round. And now a lot more options are open to them. Looking at this defense, what do you think, and just how things have progressed through this round, what is the call here for OPK?
I mean, it's hard to say. They got that pick in mid, wasn't it?
Yes,
it was toward
mid.
So they know there's going to have to be one rotation over from mid, and they just seen Fotcon, and Fotcon is usually over toward B, right? So they know that's one person kind of off of B. So if I were them, I would leave one middle somewhere, and then I would shift walk the other two toward B, and then just try to attack onto B with Q or create some noise, and then have the one guy go up mid and take out Fotcon from behind, and then take B out.
Akami getting super aggressive here, pistol out. Isn't going to quite find it on, but ooh, that
what
was
a shot
nice
from Akami.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can follow it up onto Lucas. I don't know if he, I guess he just didn't see him on the corner of his screen there. Brinks now left in a 1-on-2, and he can't bring it out.
Nice 2K there from Lucas to clean out the round. Looked like Brinks had a chance for it, and if there's anybody in the clutch situation you want for OPK, it's him, but he isn't able to find any joy there, and we will fly into the last round of the half. And again, such an important one here. You know, as always is the last round of the half. Makes such a difference, and it's going to be trades back and forth, but OPK coming out on top until Fat Gun trades it with a double kill. But sacrificing a large chunk of his life to do so will give a slight advantage to OPK, especially as the attacking side will weaken the defense and should provide a lot more options, especially OPK or Brinks finding Fatcon in a strange position there.
He definitely didn't see him. That was just a random spam there. That's why after he shot him, he kind of turned away instantly and then turned back like, what did I just do? That was pretty crazy. That was a good little game sense there from Brinks.
Yeah, it had to have been a read off of the previous kills he had. This is theoretically possible, right? But the odds were so low that he was like, I'll just spray it a little bit. And oh my goodness, there's somebody in there.
And Lucas alone on a 1v3 here. This round has been kind of doozy for OPK, just going here, going there. Just they started off with one down on the round, and yet they still come out. Good round from OPK.
Yeah, and huge, you would have to say.
For sure.
We needed them to pick up one out. They picked 2 out of the last 3, right, to drag it back to 6-3, which is also going to give them some confidence moving into the other half. When it was, 5-1?
Yeah.
And then 6-3.
I mean, it was looking heavily in favor of Boss for sure. If Boss could have kept that pace up, then OPK would have been just depressed going into the next half.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, there's such a huge difference between 7-2 and 6-3. You know, anytime, just it's always amazing to me how when you're looking at this best of 10 system, first to 10 system, how impactful the last round can be. Just on any half, regardless of score. I mean, the difference between 5-4 and 6-3 is massive. That being said, we have switched sides here, and it will be OPK on their first defense, and Supremo going to be upstairs here, looking for something in conjunction with Ryuzao. We've seen this work before, we'll see if it can again. Boss off to a very controlled start here, seeing if they can't get anything from Lucas here. But good information gathered there by Brinks, and he's going to actually come out slightly ahead in that trade, it does seem like. Pretty much even, actually. I think it's the names that are the length of name that's
Yeah. It looked like they both just tagged each other with one shot there, maybe. And so it looks like Boss are just kind of probing around, seeing how they're playing it out. They figured out, they figured out in a savage way that, yeah, they're playing B tunnels, I guess. Oops, Shady's dead now.
But that being said, that was Rizzo's first push into B tunnels, so just good timing there from him to pick that one up. And now into the 4-on-5, it is for Boss. They've grouped up with the bomb and are starting to rotate back towards this A site, which is probably a better call, as it does seem a pretty a heavier stack towards that B site, with maybe you might say 2.5 over there. But it will be Rage J holding that mid position, which is so vital because it can cover A from that position, which is something that makes no time to talk about it. As the execute comes out onto the A site, Brinks in a good position, is going to trade that one back and keep them in the man advantage. And it does look like Boss bails out of that situation, but they're starting to run low on time, and we'll see if OPK they should be aware soon. And it does seem like here now the rotations are coming out. There's only one place to go with this much time left. That being said, it is Rage J who's going to continue. He's going to actually start lurking from that mid position, and Supremo should be able to call it out from here. And Rage J gets a huge backstab there, two for nothing. And in fact, it's Rizzo who's going to clean it up. But what a heads-up play there from Rage J.
Man, these teams on T side, I just don't know. Like, they're going back and forth. They're going A side, then we got to pick there. We don't have the site yet. I guess we'll go back to B side. Oh, I mean, we got to pick there. We had a little battle there. Let's go back to A side. Let's go back to middle. There's just both these teams have done this on T side. It's kind of crazy. It's hard to keep up as GR, but OPK somehow managed to do it and come out with the round.
But you have to say, what a play from Rage J, with his eyes on the clock, saying, they have to be going to B. It's been too long. The clock's against them. They have to make a move now. Well, they have to go B, which means I can come through mid and get a beautiful backstab onto two of them as we move into the 11th round. 6-4 now for Boss, and they have yet to get it around here on the attacking side. Although there's only been one round. It will be a different look here from OPK on the defense, starting to stack a little bit more in favor of that B side, putting two in mid with Rage J and Brinks there. And only Akemi with that op in his hand going to be able to do anything about this A push coming out. Could be a very nice read here from Boss, and might be able to put something on the board. At least one will rotate over from that spam, and it's going to be Supremo. And we will see. Oh, he's had the shot there onto Lucas, and he's missed it. He will find it again, though. And he gets another. What a great... He's got three. Looking for more.
Around. Shady is scared behind the box, like, no, don't do it to me. I can't be a part of a highlight.
I
just got one on the GR side. You can't do this to me. And Akemi, he's looking for more, but
it's going to be Brinks.
Find it yet. He's trying to fall back here.
Oh,
yep. Akemi takes him out, gets the 4-piece. Doesn't get an ace. Doesn't get a retaliation ace. But
how did Ali get into that position, though?
I don't know. I was really confused right there. I don't know how that happened.
Just all of a sudden up onto the site while Alchemy is destroying his whole team from that exact position.
You know, I want to say they found out. Okay, here they go. They're doing exactly what I was talking about. So either they have to push really quick on the B side because they can take control of tunnels if they have, or they need to pinch tunnels, and it worked out. I was about to say that, and they did it.
Yeah, so, 2 nice kills picked up there by Shady, going to put them into a huge advantage here, and I think wisely not pushing the issue and just backing off. So much time to work with, just barely under 2 minutes, right? Let the map favor you. Force them to spread back out across the map.
That, and let OPK make mistakes like they just did. Supremo, he's like, okay, 2 members down. They still have 5. I need to get a pick, or we're going to lose this round. We can't retake against 5. And that's what he does. He peeks too far. Boom. He's gone.
Yep, starting to look like it might be the first round Boss can put on the board, but we've seen OPK pull the 2v5 on this map before. See if they can't channel it again and pull us to even here at 6-6. Does look like we will see a standard B execute. Actually, it's going to be
good angle there from Ryuzo.
great kill there.
But he's not going to. Yeah, he's no way he expects that. But he smartly backs off. That was a great decision. 2v5, he knows they probably gathered up close to each other. He doesn't want to take a battle.
That being said, didn't he get tag damage onto Shady?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
He's looking for where they are. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Oh, you almost had that right there. That was close. His spray was just a little bit off.
Alchemy with pistol in hand trying to...
And the expected ending. I mean, even though they 2v5'd earlier, what is the chances that it happens again?
I mean, Ryuzel almost had it. If he had gotten that second one almost immediately, you definitely have a better chance at it.
That's for sure.
And if, Alchemy doesn't get caught in an awkward position with his pistol, maybe he trades one as well. And then it's completely, a different way just because of the way that they were falling. But yeah, the odds are wildly against them. You only get so many 2v5s, and wasn't to be. That puts Boss on 7 points, but OPK still steadily closing the gap here, as you like to see from them on the defensive side. Looking like it's going to be a very close ending here.
They definitely need to get this next round, though. They don't want to let Boss get any sort of momentum by tagging 2 rounds together. Like I said before, it's more okay for them to trade rounds back and forth and end up at like a 7-5 rather than, or an 8-5 or something like that, rather than letting Boss tag 2 rounds together. Because that just gives Boss momentum.
What do you think of this defensive mix-up here from OPK, leaving only Ryuzel playing aggressively on B for him by himself?
Well, they've also got this Rage sitting right here close up. He can help out so fast. And actually now he's dipping out, so... I don't know. They're gonna. I was gonna say they're definitely gonna back up because it's pretty bad to leave somebody alone there in Barn, because all they got to do is just kill him, and he can't get early enough of a call. You can't rotate quick enough. You'll be at the closest. You'll be at like the stairs, and it's just not close enough for you to hold the site. So I wouldn't have liked that if he stayed.
That being said, they are still favoring an A defense here, OPK, and it could pay off. It looks actually like Boss is thinking about trying to break through mid here. That being said, the C4, I believe, is in Lucas's hands, and it could be a split push here onto mid, a 2-3 split. And it does look like that is what's going to happen as the execute is coming through, delayed here from the B side, and it is Supremo who's going to find the first one, but he's traded out by Shady, and Rage going to have a hard task to do here, and it's Ryuzel and brings back and forth the kills go, and all of a sudden only Lucas is left alive. He has the bomb, but no need to play this aggressively for OPK, and nice clean out there by them, and that's going to bring us one closer.
And that's a good thing they didn't leave him alone in tunnels right there, because it could have been a totally different story if they got an early pick and then rushed into the site.
I did like that execute there from Boss, with that slight, with mid going first, making a bunch of noise, and then all of a sudden 2 come out from this B warehouse, right?
So for sure the best way to do a B split through mid. You got to let mid go first. And then even better, I don't know if they did this or not, would be for B to flash and then mid to go.
This could be danger. Even doing a smoke is Shady, and he's going to be the first to go down, but it's going to be in the advantage, heavily in the advantage of Boss as they turn it into a 4v3, but Brinks.
What a shot. A little jump shot there. I like to see those.
And now it's suddenly doable again for OPK. Definitely is. Yeah, wisely, I think Akemi going to switch over to the AK. Got pretty aggressive to go back and get that weapon, but doesn't get made to pay for it. And Boss also wisely, I think, resetting, letting the map work for you. They have 2 points to cover as 2 people. What were you going to say?
I definitely like, it's kind of different from what I said, but Boss is taking the B tunnels in such an aggressive manner. They're not pinching it. They're literally just going straight at him with like 4 or 5 people. And I mean, it's not what I said they should do, but they're doing exactly that. They're taking over B tunnel control from OPK. But what a savage way to do it! Just walking up through the smoke.
So then do
it's
one
so
more.
Dangerous.
Right, I know, because it could easily just get a lot of spray down the other direction, right? So then take it one step further. What's the counter to that? As
stop playing
OPK?
tunnels. Just when you smoke it, periodically jump across and just see if there's names there. That's the only 2 things you can really do.
That being said, we do see Boss starting to creep toward this A site, and they are split up here, OPK. They're trying to play the defense instead of the retake. And
what a shot from Fatcon.
Yeah.
What an entry.
Yeah. Akemi thought by not taking that shot, I don't think I got seen. Maybe I can play this. cleverly and get the first kill. Ooh, it's going to miss both players missing their shots, and it is Brinks who's going to be taken down by Lucas. And you have to say an important win by Boss. As you could just feel OPK starting to pull that lead back slowly but surely. And that will put them one away from that point. OPK going to need to put a couple rounds on the board here and try and tie it up at 8v8 so that they can really feel comfortable. Looking like it might be a hard execute here towards B and fast, and only Ryuzo really there to protect it. We'll see how quickly he can get these calls across. Although that being said, Boss is starting to slow it down a little bit. They need to do this before too long, and Ryuzo will get those calls across pretty quickly, but it's going to be a hard defense here playing from this pit, and it does look like Boss is going to allow them to stay in the pit. And we might see a straight up 5v5 here. Akami has yet to really rotate over. He's looking for someone to be lurking, as they don't exactly have complete information on who all is here. And it's going to be Rage J who goes down first to the grenade of Rita. And a nice flash there. But Rio's, oh, he's got such a great position. Can he find more? He's found 3. He's looking for 4. Can't quite find it. And only Akami left alive. Looked for all the world like Ryuzawa was going to turn that around. But in fact, it's Ali with a double kill to clean it out.
What a way for that round to end when he got such a flashy entry into the retake there.
Yeah.
What a way for it to end. But I must say this, Boss, they played that perfectly. When people play a passive setup into that pit, there's only 2 things you can do. Go directly into the pit with a flash as soon as you see them dropping, so the rotates can't happen soon enough, or you just sit back, nade them, plant the bomb, and then fight them from the top. Don't even peek them. Don't jump down and peek them, because that's going into their territory. They did that perfectly.
The pressure is...
That's why they won the round.
And after winning that round, they put a whole heap of pressure onto OPK. OPK now only able to force overtime. And, ooh, clever play there.
Does it work out? Yes, it does.
They're looking for more, though, and it could be too aggressive. You're going to get tagged heavily by that grenade and is actually taken down from downtown from Akami, who got a little bit too aggressive to retake it, and he actually gets taken down from the site. And this is what OPK needs.
Did he see him? Did Ali spot him? I don't think he did, actually. That would have been crazy if he spotted him and took out Brinks right there. Brinks is on 1 HP right now, and it is a 5v3. That would have been a great entry.
Yeah, absolutely. Big difference between a 5v3 and a 4v and a 3v4. Excuse me. But Ali with the bomb in his hands, and he's dropped down, which means there's only one direction they can go from here, and that is to the A site. And it's great open up there by Rage J. It looks like his gun might have been sticking out, and they will see the bomb go down as well. So bad news here for Boss. And this should be, barring some boneheaded play here from OPK like that, Rage J, this should be a pretty free round here for OPK, and one that they need bad. A nice kill there from Brinks. But it's going to be traded back out by Lucas, and he's in a 1v3. Unfortunately, the bomb is down, and all 3 members should be able to protect all these angles coming at it.
And only 30 seconds left as well. He's got to do some quick work here. And they're all smartly enough sticking together, watching all the different angles they need to watch. Supremo spots them out, and I'm sure they would just collapse on them just like that.
Yeah, and there's so many ways to play that, right? You have the clock working in your favor. You can just see him and be like, oh, hello. Good luck getting up onto this site with that bomb. Go ahead and get it. You know, there's no way.
Just hide.
Right, exactly. He's got to come take the fight to you at that point, or you can just peek together. You know, so many good options. And maybe that'll give OPK the boost of confidence they need to try and drag this back into overtime for themselves. And Shady getting tagged a little bit. I think I'm not sure where that came from. I wasn't quite watching, but that could have been danger with that grenade coming at him. But in fact, it's Lucas who takes quite a bit of damage from it.
And Shady kind of fallen asleep this half, though. After such a terrific half he had last time, he's now 3-7 right now, not making too much of an impact. Haven't even noticed him making impact frags either.
And you have to say, it's Ryuzel for OPK who's looked better and better and better every match they've played.
For sure. But if they want to close this out, I think Shady needs to pop off here. And Rita opening it up on the Brave Show and bringing it back. Shady popping it back onto them. Shady with another kill. As soon as I say it, here's Shady closing it out for his team. Ryuzo, he's got the weight of his team on his shoulders here.
Yeah, somebody's already left Somebody has already left the lobby. Not giving too much faith to Ryuzo there. And he's going to find it there. That's a big one. And he didn't take that much damage. Could have been much cleaner, though. And he will have his position called out here. The bomb is ticking down. Only 19 seconds left. He needs to find this one on the Lucas. He's found it, but Ali will clean it out.
Close.
And so important there for Boss. And you have to say it. I mean, what? Because that gives the head-to-head to Boss.
Yeah.
It's basically now down to Penta and Boss are the only two teams that can really get out of Group B. And the pressure is on for Penta. They have to win out. That puts Boss on 2-1 with, let's see, they played OPK with, of course it's with Penta left to play. So Penta has to beat both Boss and OPK. Boss has it in their hands first, right? And I believe that's 2 rounds from now. Yeah, we will see Flipside versus Cherry Stars, followed up by Penta and Boss. And that's going to be so important for Boss. They can win it on their own, or they're going to have to put their faith into OPK, who they just beat.
The rest of these matches today are just as important as they could be for this whole tournament. Every team is fighting for survival here. You know, there's no teams really left today that are going to play for nothing.
Oh, well.
Flipside?
Yeah, Flipside versus Cherry Stars.
Flipside versus
Cherry Stars versus Rude.
That's just
a couple on the other side.
Yeah.
But that being said,
about this group as well.
The most interesting game I think we have left is actually in Group A, which is TGF versus Makta. I can't wait for that game. I'm most hyped for that one.
For sure, me as well. I really want to see how the new look Makta face up against the Chinese.
Exactly. I mean, they're both 3-0 at this point, right? Somebody's walking away 4-0.
And TGF has definitely shown at least a little bit more weakness than SV has. So I can see Makta being able to take them down.
Yeah. Makta's exciting. Makta is exciting. And the hype train really starts if they can take down TGF.
For sure. And in that matchup, it was nice to finally see a 5K.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, and that ultra kill he got was insane. So many collaterals have been happening. So many collaterals have been happening this tournament, like that Revenge.
2 in that exact location.
Yeah. And Revenge got himself 1 earlier.
That's true.
And then the ZYK 4K onto port.
In the exact location.
Yeah, and it was like a triple
in basically
collateral
the same in basically the same fashion. We assume.
And then he got another triple collateral as well. It's just crazy. Like, I don't know. I mean, it just shows teams are pushing together, and that is actually good of them. It's no knock against the team. It's just great on the players who have been getting these collaterals.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really hard to not, from some angle, you will be stacking up coming out of that doorway.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is a very, very tight choke. That is a kill box for a reason, and it has been 100% a kill box a couple times today on port, or in this tournament on port.
Yeah.
It was technically yesterday, but that being said, although our next match between Flipside and Cherry Stars doesn't have any implications for the next round.
Both of them want to win to prove that they're not bad, in a way. Just to prove that they are not as bad as their score says, or their.
I think it's more important for Flipside because Europe has yet to win a match yet.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Although Penta is still in it, right?
Yeah.
They're 0-2, but it's because they've lost to TNC and SV that they're still in it.
Europe definitely doesn't want to be last in CFGI. That is for sure.
It's pretty unprecedented. Europe has had,
great
success internationally.
Come second twice in a row in CFS. 2 different teams as well.
Third last year's CFGI.
Yeah.
A lot of impressive performances.
I mean, part of that could be from them playing in CFPL. Maybe they're, I guess the only word I can think of is ego. Maybe their ego got bashed a little bit, and their confidence is a little bit less than it was in those CFSs.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, you have to say that they won't stay down for long. And again, we still don't know. Flipside can turn it around and end 2-2, which is, even though you don't advance, this is not so bad, right? And then
at least you're not negative on the win-loss column. Exactly.
And then if Penta goes 2-2, they can easily advance out of the groups because they will have the head-to-head. They will advance, right? If Penta wins out, they advance. And they have it all in their hands.
And I can see this happening. I know I would do the same thing if I was in Flipside shoes. If I ended 2-2 and you ended 2-2 and you advanced, I'd be like, well, it don't matter. If I was in your group, I would have advanced
the easy
too.
group.
Yeah.
The one with SV, yeah, it's the easy group because you didn't have Makta.
Imagine saying that. That's the thing you didn't think anybody would say before this.
Yeah, for sure.
Before
I mean,
CFGI happened.
it will be super interesting. I'm certain that both teams will be playing hard because neither team has a win. And you certainly, I mean, what? NA didn't even get invited, so you don't want to be the next NA.
Oh, yeah.
Don't
be getting last
NA
place.
will trade you out.
Don't be getting last place now. You might be the next NA and not get invited.
All right, so that's all for this match. We're going to be moving on to Flipside versus Cherry Stars, and we'll see who can put their first win on the board after this break.